Hey, everybody, it's Ted. Happy New Year. I am with Ryan Plaza, my amazing friend. Do we say Plaza or Plaza?
Plaza.
Plaza.
Like I tell people, like a shopping plaza.
Like a shopping plaza, not plaza. Ryan Plaza, Happy New Year. We are so glad to be back. Thanks for putting up with our crazy hiatus. It was much needed. Do me a favor and let me know you can hear me and see me. That is my biggest worry. Because we had so many interesting technological challenges. The picture looks good, so let me know you can hear and see me. I see Ryan's on. That must be you. But I want to make sure people know we're here, can see us, because I did an entire show where nobody could hear. Hey, John, I'm happy to see you. Happy New Year. Will you let me know that you can hear and see us? That would be helpful. Because we are trying. I've had this poor little machine, my poor little stand broke like 12 times. Hey Donna, thanks for coming on. Let us know you can hear and see us. And now you should see how it's rigged. I've got a napkin under it. We're hoping it doesn't pop out. Trying not to freak Ryan out because that phone's going to shoot right out. Boom. So thanks for being on the first show of 2018. I'm excited to have you.
No, thank you for having me.
And I wasn't sure, man. You've got so much going on, and it was the holidays, and people have their crazy lives going on, and I didn't know who was going to show up, if anybody was going to remember the TED Show, and I wanted to make sure that Ryan gets the attention that he deserves.
No worries. I think he started with me because he knew that it was going to be slow. So like,
no, that's not true. That's not true.
No, but I'm excited to be here. Ted, man, you're doing amazing things with your show.
That's very
really
sweet.
Love it.
Thank you.
I think it's awesome. Great content, great people that you have on. And when Ted gives you that call, man, you just say, you know what, let me clear up some time and be on the TED Show. So thank you.
Well, thank you. You know, will you check? We're going to have him check while I chit-chat a little bit about, make sure you can hear us, because that's my biggest worry. So let us know. Nobody's coming on saying they can hear us or see us, so I'm like, uh-oh, what if they can't hear us? So we're going to have him play a little bit to make sure he can hear me. I sound scratchy right now, like I've got this rock and roll voice. I do not have a rock and roll voice. So we had a great break. We got a lot of stuff accomplished for the TED Show. We've got some things that we're launching in 2018 that are going to be amazing, and we'll be talking a lot about those in the next couple of days. And so we're going to make sure Ryan can hear us. All right, so you can hear. So if it's scratchy, let me know. We can toy with it, but... All right, so let's talk about you. Enough about me. I'll get you all my information. We've got a Patreon account that we want to get you hooked into. Bill Moore, thanks for joining. Let me know you can hear me. How was the sound? Scratchy? Okay, good. Okay, good.
Good. I got my IG live.
Look at that, and look how pretty we look.
Oh yeah,
he looks handsome.
Man,
I don't know. I had to wear the. I wish I had a beard that you have a little teeny gray, right? So if
white.
I grow, it's white. Oh, it is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh my God, mine just is gray from old age.
I have to deal with people saying, "Oh, you have toothpaste there still." No, it's just my hair.
I have this little freckle here, and even my kids go, "You've got something on your eye." I'm like, "You're going to poke my eye out, for God's sake." All right, so let's get back to you.
All right.
Tell me about you, because we met. Did we meet up here? Is that where we met? Where have we met? I meant to, because somebody introduced us.
Yeah, I want to say it was here.
Did Aaron introduce us, or it's before Aaron?
It could have been Aaron. I want to say it was probably Aaron.
We love Aaron Luden.
It was either Aaron Luden or Carrie Rose.
Oh God, I love Carrie Rose.
Yeah, Dr. Carrie Rose, I believe.
Dr. Rose, we love her. And
love
Sean, we love them both.
Yeah, amazing people. So I think it was either one of the two. It was definitely here because Ted is like the president of the Citrus Club.
President, we'll go with that. I've heard Pope, Mayor, and we'll go with whatever you got.
Yeah, president or mayor of the Citrus Club here on the 18th floor.
So talk about you a little bit, because we talked way too long about me. Tell me about your background. Like we joke about, there's $2.45 for R&D here, so we spend that on booze. So there is really no research. Give me your background.
So I was born in New York, the city that never sleeps.
What part?
Long Island. So
Long Island.
Long Island, New York.
Long Island.
I quick hiatus in the Bronx, but mostly Long Island. Moved to Florida, like Brevard County area. Oh man, years ago I was pretty young, so I turned in my New York pass. I'm no longer from New York, especially with this cold outside right now. I gave up my New York pass.
No, thank you.
Yeah, they can have that. I'm a Florida boy.
Florida.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love Florida. I've been in Florida, man, for years now. I used to live in Brevard County and Palm Bay, little Palm Bay area. It was just getting too congested, too small for me. I wanted some bigger opportunities, so had some resources out in Orlando, came out here, and been here since 2011.
Did you move down here as an adult or a kid?
An adult. So
okay.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Florida as a kid.
Okay.
And then as an adult, I moved to
So you grew
Orlando.
up over in Brevard?
Yeah.
What part?
Palm Bay, Melbourne,
Sure.
Ugali area.
I love that area.
Yeah, that's my
Melbourne
stomping
Beach
grounds.
is my favorite.
My mom actually lives like 15 minutes
No,
from there.
yeah, that's
so.
awesome. So you traded beach life for crazy Orlando. Why?
Yeah, well, opportunity, right? I think that Melbourne is just, it was great. At the time, I had met one of my biggest mentors to this day. It's a smaller town. There wasn't much opportunity. Once I met him, it was like, all right, like I have all the resources I need out of this town. It's time for me to just step it up. And I had resources in Orlando. So I was like, you know what? I think it's like, once again, starting with the end in mind, I knew where I wanted to go. And I actually picked Orlando, Miami, or Tampa because they had international airports. I always had a vision of traveling for work. So I picked those three, and I had the most resources in Orlando, so I decided to make the move.
So you had the most resources here. How? Did you just have
like living
friends?
situations.
Okay, good.
At the time, I had a cousin that lived out here and like an ex-business partner that lived out here too, and we had a restaurant in Palm Bay. So when I decided to come out here, I had those two resources. I had cheaper living. Living is important. And I just decided to make.
So what did you do when you got here? Because you obviously grew up on the beach side. If you haven't ever lived on a beach county or near a beach, that's a totally different lifestyle. Like the pace is slower. The opportunities are there, but they're all kind of centered around beach unless you've got some big business. So here, definitely I could understand the opportunity. What did you specifically come for over here? Got you.
So right before I left, I had a mentor that was really just teaching me the way. So I was with him, and I was just like, I just need more opportunities. So at the time, I had a cousin that lived out here, and I came out here, and I had really nothing going for myself. I was, I think 20 at the time. So I didn't have much going for myself, and I ended up jumping into banking. The girlfriend at the time that I had, she was a banker. She's like, "Oh, just try it out." So I was like,
"Follow the girlfriend."
Yeah. She was out here too. So I was like, you know what? Came out here. I started as a part-time teller. So 20-hour teller at TD Bank. Shout out to Bobby Roderick. He was the first guy who hired me in Orlando. If you're watching, I love you. I still appreciate you, man.
That's good. Yep. You got to give people a shout out who've given you an opportunity.
Yeah, I had no banking experience at all.
So he took a chance on you.
Yeah, he rolled the dice. He took a chance on me. So shout out to Bobby Roderick. He did my first time job as a part-time teller. So I started to do banking. I did that from... I moved here in 2011. I did that until 2014. I did banking. So I started as a part-time teller.
And then what did you graduate to?
I graduated as a business banker. So I went from a part-time 20-hour teller to full-time teller to personal banker. And then by the end of my run, I was a business banker doing $1 million loans for doctors and lawyers and such. So
why leave that? That seems like it's lucrative or fun or engaging. Is it just because the banking industry is kind of a challenge in many different ways, or?
Yeah, definitely had to do with that. With banking, you always think that the grass is greener on the other side. You jump from, if you've been in banking, you jump from bank to bank for different opportunities. At the time, I had an amazing opportunity, and it just kind of got to that area where it was a little gray, and challenges and goals and things increases. So at the time, I always was a hybrid, so half entrepreneur, half corporate world. And at the time, some entrepreneur endeavors kind of were presenting itself, and the bank presented its challenges. And I had one of my mentors tell me, he's like, "Don't be afraid, just jump." So I felt like it was a perfect opportunity, and I just took a jump to that full-time entrepreneur life.
Let's talk about mentors a little bit, and then we'll get to what happened next, because you've mentioned mentors a couple of times. I have people ask me all the time, I don't have a mentor. Where do these people find their mentors, and how do you know somebody is someone that you can trust? How do you know at that point they're being a mentor with your best interest at heart? Because we get a lot of advice all the time. I mean, if you read social media feeds, you're getting advice all the time, whether you want it or not, and other people's opinions about what you should do. But how do you know when somebody's a mentor? Does somebody say something and it clicks with you and then they begin to give you advice? I think people are afraid to listen to other people for a crazy bunch of reasons, but obviously it's been important to your life and your career.
Oh yeah, I think everything I've done, man, has been based around mentors, and I don't even just have one, I have several mentors. But it goes back into the title of the story, ironically, Start with the End in Mind. And also I'm writing an ebook on the same topic right now, Finding Your Dream Mentor. So that should be released in the first quarter.
Yeah. Didn't know.
Yeah, so that should be released in the first quarter this month. We're almost done with it. But starting with the end in mind and mentorship. So I knew where I wanted to go. And I think you have to know where you want to go and then figure out who around you or who you know that could get you there. So I knew that I wanted to be a business person. I've just always been a business enthusiast. So I went out looking for a mentor, and I attracted it. Once again, in the title, Manifested.
Manifested.
How
did you attract it? What did you think? People want the nitty gritty, and I do too. I think we could all learn from this. So what did you do to manifest it? Because people think, when they think manifestation, they think law of attraction, The Secret, vision boards. What did you do to attract a mentor? Because that's a simple, easy question. I'm not asking you what you did to attract $1 million or what you're trying to do, but you attracted a mentor, and you purposefully, there was a purpose in what you did.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's starting with the intention, right? It's the intention of, what are you intending to do? So at the time, I'll give you a quick little story. I was at Kohl's department store. I worked at Kohl's in the shoe department. And we started out the store. I started 50 hours a week, got down to like 8. And I was in the shoe department, and I'm like, you know what, man? There's just more for me out there. Like, this can't be what Ryan Plaza is known for, to be the best shoes salesman in the world. It's just not the title that I wanted. So at the time, I reached out to 2 people that I knew, close friends of mine that were in business and always around business people. So I reached out to one guy, and right away he came back. He's like, "You're always talking about business. I'm going to introduce you to my boss." And and it's funny going back to it, because this is around the time I was graduating like high school and stuff. In high school, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a business guy, and I'm going to find a business mentor. I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but I think I set that intention there. And then when I was in the shoe department, just realizing that this wasn't for me, when I started to make those contacts and reach out, it just came about. So we went out to dinner with his boss, and literally within a week, I started to work for this guy. So it's just, I think, setting that attention, like Misty says, we're going to
Misty, energy flows where focus goes. Happy New Year, Misty.
Happy New Year's, Misty. I think you're exactly right? My energy went there, and my focus started to go there, and opportunity started to present itself.
But you had to have, when you were raised or in your childhood, like, where did that come from? Because people, it isn't always a natural thing. They may have it. I think we all have it. But there has to be, was there ever a turning point where you go, your parents or your people around you said, encourage you to be a certain way, where there are role models around you, you go, that's what I want to be? Because most people don't wake up one day and go, especially in high school, and go, oh my God, I need to have a business mentor. Like, where does that idea come from you? Did you have somebody around you that gave it to you, that maybe motivated you or inspired you?
Yeah, I think at that point, ironically, I didn't, that wasn't necessarily true for me. Granted, I was around business. I was already in high school. I already started to do like club promotions and bar promotions. I couldn't even get into the club, and I was putting my own money up for flyers and investing in club nights. So like, I was in 11th, 12th grade already doing clubs. I grew up around my dad in Puerto Rico, who owned businesses, and I seen it, not at the light. I would think my true changing point was one after high school, and it's weird because I already had that mindset. Like, I already said it before that. But once I got my first mentor, then I started to shift. But really, when I moved to Orlando, shout out to my mastermind, a whole group of Asian kids, one Jewish and one Puerto Rican, myself. We're a weird, different group. But they're the ones.
Isn't that awesome, though?
Yeah, it's like 9 Asians, 1 Jew, and 1 Puerto Rican. It sounds like a funny joke, but that was the group that really started to teach me about law of attraction and manifestation. So even though I was practicing it unconsciously for 2 years, they were the ones who taught me the principle. I think before it was just my mind and weird chain of events, but I really learned it after the fact.
It helped, you already had it, because we all have it, but it helped bring it into focus. It helped you streamline it, or at least put some sort of structure to it.
Yes, like I like to say, everything we need is within us. And that's one of my mantras that I always follow. So I'm sure I had it within me. It just took that group and that surrounding, and then especially I had that mentor for 2 years to really just take it out of me and increase it.
That's awesome. Sure. So you get here. I sidetracked you for a lot, but that was awesome. So you get here, and what happens next? You leave banking.
Yep.
So you found these, or you manifested more opportunities through your mentorship and being open to that. That's another thing people have to do. You can have the best mentor in the world, but if you're not open to being mentored, if that's the word, then it's never going to work. So if all you want to do is tell your ideas to your mentor and them expect to give you that back exactly what you said, then you're not open to being mentored. And I think a lot of people make that mistake too. So you had a mentor, and then you had an opportunity, or multiple opportunities. So what happened?
Yeah, so I was in banking, but from the moment that I got out here and I got around this mastermind, all of them were like roughly my age, a little older, but roughly my age, and they all had businesses. So my mind starts around like, man, I'm the only one in the group without a business. Like, what do I do? So I actually reached out to that mentor that I spent 2 years prior with, and I was like, hey, let's go into a business deal. Because the services that he offered was incorporation, taxes, bookkeeping. It's all services that my new group of friends needed. And I was trying to find my niche within the group.
Smart.
And I was like, you know what? This could be a partnership here. So I reached out to him. I remember I sent him an email asking him to be 50-50 partners. He was like, kid, listen, I haven't given away more than 50% of my company since like 19 something. But since it's you, we agreed on a 40-60 split. So I had a 40-60 split with him, and I started to outsource his services. So I'd get bookkeeping, tax clients in, and I would send his office to work to do it. They would send it back. I would get the check, so on and so forth. So that was kind of like my niche when I moved out here. But it was very slow, so I was working the bank the whole time.
But how cool for your mentor to put his money where his mouth was, because he obviously had believed in you enough to mentor you. There's a mentee, you're the mentee.
Yeah.
But he realized that what he was doing, that you really had the fire and you really had the ability to do it. How awesome for him to go, you know what, I'm going to take a chance.
Yeah.
Because why not? I mean, I think a lot of mentors, this is my only problem with the coaching industry, is there's a lot of coaching that goes on, and then there's not a lot of implementation or believing. So if you're working with your coach, and your coach doesn't believe enough in introducing you to people, it doesn't have to be money, introducing you to people, supporting your venture, supporting what your end game is, starting with the end in mind. Yeah. I remembered finally, the name of the show. Then I think you need to really rethink your mentor or your coach. That's my opinion.
Amen. He took the chance on me. He rolled the dice. It ended up working. We did it for several years. And then so through that circulation, I'm being at the bank. I was, like I said, I always did both. I had the corporate job and I had the hybrid entrepreneur job. So I think it just kind of got to a point where now I was feeling confident. I had a set of clients that I was already doing work for on the side, and one of those clients were really growing. So I was at that pivot point, like challenges are at the job. So actually I reached back out to that same mentor and I'm like, hey, like, what do I do? There's opportunity here, there's something there. And he was like, man, stop being a punk. In other words, I'm not going to say the real words that he said to me. He was like, stop being a punk. You're never going to realize what's out there until you make that jump.
Agreed.
He was like, you're never going to feel confident in yourself until you make that jump. He's like, it's going to scare you. You might not be able to pay your bills. You might have to go back home and live with your mom and sleep on the couch, but it'll be worth it in the end. So I literally did that. One of my clients was really picking up steam. Shout out to Sesai Each Station, Robert and Teresa Lee over there, Thomas, Mills, all of you guys. That was picking up, so I went over there to help them with their business. And I just left banking, gave it up. I literally went from around the time I was making like $80,000 in banking and then had my entrepreneur money. I literally left all of that for like a $25,000, $30,000 contract.
But how else are you going to cut your teeth? It's very hard to, because it's all about being present and being focused. So it's very difficult. You can't serve two masters, right? That's the old saying. So it's very difficult if you're in the corporate world and you're trying to do it on the side. I joke with my real estate friends that are part-time. You can't really do real estate part-time. I mean, you have to figure out what you need to be present in whatever you're doing and purposeful in it. And if you don't, and I'm stealing that from Thomas Waterman, by the way, if you're watching, love you for that word. But you have to focus on that. And why not take the leap? When else are you going to have an opportunity? How old are you?
28. I was like 24 at the time.
Oh, dear God. So when I said I've been married 27 years in February, you're probably like, oh, great, I was a year old. Wow, I'm old. I was only 10 when I married my wife.
Right.
But you have to really take that leap. And I think a lot of people, they message me after the shows and they're like, I'd really like to do that, but I don't have the mentor. I don't have the wherewithal. I need the money. And all of those things are right. But if you know that you have your opportunity before you and you feel it, I mean, there is nothing better than being your own boss and being a consultant and really growing your dream and what you wanted to do. So what did you do next? What did you take after that? So you realized, hey, I can do this.
Yeah. So that was my first client, and it was exactly it. I was doing both. And even with them, right, there was a lot of growth, a lot of things going on, but I couldn't give it attention, right, because I had that 9 to 5, I'm stuck in the office, whatever the case was. So it was kind of like reached the ceiling, and we had to make an agreement. So it was just perfect time. I couldn't really dive into the projects because I had the job. So with leaving, I was able to dive into the projects, and that was my stepping stone. So I literally just had that first client. They were my first client, and then ironically, I went back to that other mentor since he was the one that told me to jump. I was like, yeah, you told me to jump. Well, your business needs X, Y, and Z, and I could do it. So let me have that contract too. And he put his money where his mouth was again. He was like, all right, cool. He gave me a contract I was doing. Literally, I was doing like whatever I could do in my tool belt. So I was doing I was managing his social media account. And that's how I started. I had like 3-4 social media accounts that I had, and then the main contract over there. So I went from 1 contract to like 4 and like within the month, right? But it was after I took that jump. Sure. All I had at first was that 1 contract, and I literally had 3 other job opportunities at that same time present itself. And that was the lowest paying one, but it was the most rewarding and aligned with my goals. So I left a lot of money on the table at the time, but I went with them. So I did that. I went from just that 1 client to I think I ended the year with like 15 clients.
Okay, how did you go? So people will ask, how did you go from 2 or 1 to 15? So is that about the manifested? Was it word of mouth? Were you out promoting yourself as you're working? Because that's what you do as a consultant, or if you're out there as an entrepreneur. It would be lovely if you could rely just on 1 contract, but you can't always rely on 1 contract. So you're out there building. How were you able to get that from 1 to 10 plus or 15?
Yeah. It was challenging. I think it started off with word of mouth, just word of mouth, and then really self-marketing, right? I think that's one of the things that I've done very well for myself is build a brand around me. So it's just kind of, the videos, the content, putting that out there, and people started to see it, and also a network. So I've always been really good with creating a network for myself. So then at that point, I started to dig back into that network. And granted, that was some of the hardest times of my life. And I'm going to be very transparent. I went from like 1 to 15. Within like 2 years, I went back down to like 3. And when you're consulting, it's a very hunt, kill, eat situation. So
totally.
Yeah, every single day, if you're not going out there and hunting, you won't eat. So for me, that's where I have kind of one of my flaws is that you start to focus on the work that you got and you get comfortable. Okay, I got these 10 clients now. I'm good. The money's flowing.
Right.
Everything's great. Okay, let me focus on this 10 clients. But what happens is that you may have a 3-month contract with one person, a year contract with another person, and then you're not focusing back on going back out and hunting and getting new clients. So I'll be very transparent. I kind of failed towards the end because, I got it to 15. I'm focusing on the 15 one-man show, and those contracts expire, whatever. Now I'm back down to 3. So it's definitely a process, self-marketing, self-branding, and then... Which
gave you the knowledge. So all of this leads up to the fact that you have Start Now, which I want you to talk about. But that just doesn't come from, hey, I decided to work with startups or businesses and try to help them grow. You had to go through all of the growing pains, understand their pain, in order for you to really be a consultant to them, because you went through it. So talk about Start Now.
Yeah, so I recently, we're in the beta stages of Start Now Ventures. The website's going up, a lot of great things behind that. But that all stemmed from literally now 2008. It's been 10 years since I've been in the business arena. Literally right out of high school, graduated 2008. I owned a restaurant by 2000 and I think that same year, 2008, 2009, and just kind of been in the business world since then, even before then. In high school, I was an entrepreneur as well. But now it's been 10 years, right? 2 years of being with a multi-million-dollar mentor, learning the foundation, taxes, business structure. Then from there, moved out here. So then not only did I learn the tax end of the business, I learned the banking end of the business. Sure. Which if you're ever going up for a loan or anything like that, you'll realize that they see things differently, right? The tax guy wants you to show less profits because he wants you to pay less taxes, and the bank wants you to show more profits because they want to see that you could sustain that loan.
So it is the horrible thing about being self-employed or having your own company.
Yes, if you have your own business, you already know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I had 2 years of the back end, then I had say like 4 years of banking, and then a couple of years of really working in depth, sitting on boards, nonprofits, sitting on corporate teams of profit businesses. So having that mixture, now I'm able to sit back and say, hey, look, let me help you with these growing pains that you're going to start off with. Because I've seen it from multiple industries,
sure,
plus from a banking and a tax point of view.
So how does somebody who's a good client, like I'm sure there are people out there, because I get the messages all the time, because so much of the shows are focused on follow your dreams, manifest it. You can spin it any way you want, but take a leap.
Yeah.
And you want to do what you want to do, something that you love to do. But who's a good person for you? Is it somebody who hasn't even formed their corporation yet? Do they need to be at a certain stage, or will you help them, mentor them, consult with them? By the way, mentorship doesn't always mean free. That's my 2018 goal, is to make sure that people who come on here, it's great to ask questions, and we will all mentor you. But at some point, you can't give away all your services because none of us are 501c3 charities. So I'm talking about making sure that all of the people on here and all of you get the money that you deserve. And if you have an expertise, you should earn money for providing a service. So you're providing a service to people. What level do they need to be at? What if they come to you and go, hey, Ryan, I've got this idea. All right, so what do you do, or where do you want them to be before they come to you?
Yeah, the ideal client is exactly that, right? The ideal client would be a client that says, hey, look, I'm ready to go. I just don't know where to start. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They don't know where to start, so it intimidates them, and they never start.
Correct.
Right? So I was seeing that. I was like, you know what? I want to be that person that not only pushes them and continues to give them that maintenance and nurturing, but get them off the ground. Because a lot of people they go out to start business, never make it formal. And you're not,
they don't.
Yeah, that dream and goal is never going to be anything until it's formal, because nobody wants to write a check to just Ryan Plaza. They prefer to write it to RS Plaza Enterprises. When they see that you're a company, they're going to take you a lot more serious. So that client that's at a starting phase that wants to launch or wants to take their business serious, that's what I'm here for. I'll help you incorporate, get that paperwork in, set you up with a domain name, and then I can nurture you and coach you and make sure that you're not falling into certain holes that people early on fall into. And within the first year, the stats I want to say, it's 79% of companies, if not higher, fail within the first year to 3 years because they don't have their structure right, don't have key things in place.
Yeah, but just because you have an amazing idea. Hey, Laura, Emil, it's good. I'm so glad she joined. What's up? And Laura and I have been friends since the 7th grade.
Holy cow. Hello,
I know.
Laura.
Hey, Laura. And Emil, she and her significant other, Z, they own a cigar company. They're awesome. So we love you guys. Thanks for joining. Melody, you too. Melody Garcia's on. Do you know Melody?
Oh, yeah,
Definitely
Melody.
want to talk to her. She's amazing.
We have to reschedule a meeting, actually.
Oh, there it
If you see
is.
me,
So
text
here
me,
it is.
Let's get together.
But I think that a lot of people, they don't even know what first of all, they're afraid to trust. That's another thing. So you've got this dream. Don't go out and do it just on your own and think that you're going to be able to get through it. I'm not saying you have to pay thousands of dollars in the first month for consulting fees, but you need to get with somebody who understands what you're going through, because your idea may be amazing and you may be an amazing person who's got a great concept, let's say for a restaurant. That does not mean that you know how to run a restaurant, order things, make sure things are on time, manage staff. It's the same for any business. You really have to think it through. You could be the best person at one thing and be a horrible manager, a horrible inventory taker. I mean, there are so many things that you could do, but you have to be willing to share that idea with a consultant, with a mentor, so that you can get past what your weaknesses are, because we all have them, by the way. We all have them. I'm terrible at the minutia of paperwork. Trust me, Ask anybody. I'll post it 1,000 times. I'm good at what I do, but I'm not good at paperwork. Yep. So you have to have the infrastructure in order to help that, because paperwork is so important for all of our businesses. And if you're not good at it, you need to either bring somebody on who is. By the way, that's not free. Yeah. You need to have that in your budget, and you need to work with somebody like Ryan who can help you budget that in. Because you may want to spend all of your money on your wonderful ideas, but if you don't have the infrastructure to implement it or to make sure that it's sustainable, you're going to be one of those failures of 79%.
Yep, amen.
So give them your URL. I mean, this went so fast. This is what happens. Give them it's always a good conversation. You're awesome. Give them and we're going to share this later, but give them your URL. Tell them how to reach out to you, and we'll post all of this on Ryan's social media and mine. But it's super important, because I think when we have so many people that are 2017 was a challenge for a lot of people. I hear it all the time. So people are really gung-ho about 2018. Let's capture that enthusiasm for a new year and do what you love. And let's figure out how to help you get there. And Ryan's one of those people that can help you figure out how to get there. So how do people reach out to you?
Yes, we can start off right now, of course, on the Facebook, and we'll tag my name on there. So Ryan Plaza on Facebook. On Instagram, it's rs_Plaza. We're beta testing right now the Start Now Ventures website, so that should be up, and you can even click it in. You can probably see some stuff right now while they're working on it. So that's going up. That should be done by the end of the month. We also have BeNewRich.com. You can get some merchandise and some fun stuff there. That's more of my mindset lifestyle.
Oh, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we didn't. We'll get into that next time.
All right.
But on BeRichDoRich.com. It's just the mindset. Mindset is super important with everything you do. So there's going to be a lot of mindset content along with merchandise. So that's BeNewRich.com. Look out for Start Now Ventures. And for now, you can reach out to me on my social media platforms.
So we'll do that. And one other thing, I asked him his age, 28. We get asked a lot about ages, right? So, hey, Dobbs, welcome. Just because you're my age, 31, 32, I want you guys to be empowered to know that you don't have to just be 28. You still have a dream, you have a vision, you have an idea. You need to get out. Let's make this the year 2018 where people get out of their shell, get out of their comfort zone, and you actually implement those ideas that you've been hanging on to at my age, let's say for 20, 30 years. Do it. What do you have to lose? Unless you are one of the few that are making 7 figures in your job and love it, then you've got an idea. I guarantee you. I talk to people every single day, and they have these ideas that are amazing. Get out of your comfort zone. Reach out to people like Ryan, and let's make this 2018 awesome. Yes. Thank you. You were an awesome guest.
Thank you, Ted.
We love you guys. We're going to post a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to start our after shows and a lot of things on Patreon. And Patreon sounds like Patron. I've talked about this before. We'll do tequila shots every time if that's what it takes. But I really, really would like to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, and I'll post all of that on our Patreon account, because we're going to provide so much more content for 2018 and really give you the tools that you need to make life changes. And that can be everything from diet, which I hate that word, to food changes, to business changes, especially lifestyle changes. Let's do it together in 2018. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with the vivacious, and those are her words, Veronica Figueroa. She's amazing. And
shout out to Veronica. Veronica, we love you. I love you.
We love you. It's going to be a great show. Hers is dominance, or disruption to dominance. Woo! I mean, this is she's about it too. We're going to have a great time. You were awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
all right, love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.